Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to Softening into Momentum. I'm Miki, and let me start by acknowledging something difficult. We've all been hurt by family, by friends, by ourselves. We carry these hurts like stones in our pockets, weighing us down, even when we don't realize we're carrying them. Today, we're exploring one of the most misunderstood practices in all of spiritual teaching: forgiveness. Not the kind that pretends harm didn't happen or that requires reconciliation with people who aren't safe, but the kind that sets us free from the prison of our own resentment. As we move deeper into this season, approaching the holidays, when family wounds often surface, this teaching feels essential. Because what I've learned is holding on to resentment doesn't punish the person who hurts us. It punishes us every single day. Forgiveness isn't about them. It's about choosing freedom. Take a breath with me as we explore this tender territory. Let's start by clearing up what forgiveness is not. Forgiveness is not condoning harm. It's not pretending something didn't hurt when it did. It's not reconciliation. You can forgive someone and still maintain boundaries with them. It's not weakness, and it's not something you do for the other person's benefit. Forgiveness is the practice of releasing our own attachment to resentment. It's choosing to stop replaying the story of how we were wronged. It's recognizing that carrying anger towards someone who may not even think about us anymore is like drinking poison and expecting them to die. In sobriety, forgiveness has been essential for me, especially self-forgiveness. I spent years berating myself for the time I lost to drinking, for the relationships I damaged, for the person I was when I was using. I thought if I punished myself enough, I'd somehow make up for what I'd done. But all that self-punishment did was keep me stuck. It kept me identifying with my worst moments instead of recognizing that I'm a person who's capable of growth, of change, of becoming someone new. Self-forgiveness doesn't mean what I did was okay. It means I'm no longer willing to let my past mistakes define my present worth. It means I acknowledge the harm, make amends where possible, and then choose to move forward rather than staying in prison by shame. The Buddhist tradition teaches that holding resentment is like grasping a hot coal. We're the ones getting burned. When we refuse to forgive, we're not protecting ourselves. We're continuously re-wounding ourselves by reliving the original hurt over and over. Family wounds are often the deepest because they happen when we're most vulnerable, when we haven't yet developed the tools to understand or process harm. We internalize messages about our worth, our lovability, our place in the world. And those wounds can follow us for decades if we don't address them. The approaching holidays can bring these wounds to the surface. Sitting at tables with people who hurt us, navigating family dynamics that feel toxic, trying to show up as our healed selves in spaces that knew us before healing. It's hard. But forgiveness practice gives us a way through, not by pretending everything is fine, but by releasing our need for people to be different than they are, by grieving what we didn't get while releasing our attachment to what we wish had been, by choosing freedom over the familiar comfort of righteous anger. There are two directions in which forgiveness moves: inwards toward ourselves and outward toward others. Both are essential, and both are difficult in different ways. Self-forgiveness is often harder because we know every detail of our wrongdoing. We replay it endlessly. We know our intentions, our failures, our repeated patterns. And we often hold ourselves to standards we'd never apply to anyone else. I think about the things I did while drinking, the ways I showed up half present, the commitments I broke, the times I chose numbing over connection. I can forgive others for their addictions while struggling to forgive myself for my own. Why is that? Because somewhere deep down, many of us believe we should have known better, done better, been better, even when we didn't have the tools yet. Self-forgiveness asks, can I hold my past self with the same compassion that I'd offer to anyone else struggling with the same challenges? Can I recognize that I did the best I could with the awareness I had at the time? Forgiving others is complicated because sometimes the people who hurt us aren't sorry. They might not even recognize the harm they caused. They might continue to be harmful, and we're expected to forgive them anyway, not for their sake, but for ours. This doesn't mean having relationship with them. It doesn't mean pretending they're safe when they're not. It means releasing our expectation that they'll ever give us what we needed. It means grieving the parent, the friend, or partner we deserved and accepting the one we got. It means choosing peace over the need to be right about how wrong they were. The practice isn't easy. Resentment can feel righteous, justified, even comforting in its familiarity. But it's also exhausting, and it keeps us tethered to the very people and experiences we're trying to move beyond. Here's what's helped me. Recognizing that forgiveness is a practice, not a destination. I don't forgive once and then it's done. I forgive again and again, each time the resentment resurfaces. Each time I catch myself replaying old wounds. Each time I notice I'm still trying to make someone see how they hurt me. And slowly, over time, the grip loosens. The story loses its power. The hurt becomes something that happened rather than something that's still happening in every present moment. Hey, beautiful soul. Before we move deeper into today's conversation on forgiveness as freedom, I want to share something tender with you, especially because yesterday in America was Giving Tuesday. Creating this podcast, guided meditations, writing newsletters, building this peaceful little corner of the internet, it's all part of the bigger vision I'm holding for meta momentum, a vision of a true safe harbor, a place where you can land, soften, breathe, and return home to yourself. If this podcast has supported you, if these episodes have helped you feel seen, steadier, or less alone, I'd be so grateful if you'd consider supporting my work today through my Buy Me a Coffee page. Even the smallest gift, $5, $10, truly anything, helps me continue recording new seasons, funding studio quality meditations, creating free workshops, and slowly building the coaching community I dream of. This online oasis of mindfulness, creativity, and compassion that I hope becomes a sanctuary for you. There is never any pressure. Your presence here is already a gift. But if you feel called, you can find the link right in the show notes. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your heart. And thank you for supporting this work so it can continue to grow and serve. All right, let's breathe together and return to today's episode. The practice we are exploring today invites forgiveness toward yourself and others. Remember, forgiveness is for you. It's the practice of releasing resentment so you can be free. So find a comfortable position. Allow your eyes to close if that feels safe. Take 3 deep breaths, arriving into this moment. Breathing in and breathing out. Again, inhaling and releasing. Once more, breathing in and letting go. Place your hand on your heart. Feel the warmth of your own touch. the rhythm of your heartbeat. This is where we begin with ourselves. Bring to mind something you've been holding against yourself. Maybe it's something from your past, a mistake, a hurt you caused, a time you fell short of your own values. Maybe it's something more recent. Don't judge the thought, just acknowledge it. Notice how it feels in your body to hold this unforgiveness toward yourself. Is there tightness, shame, a sense of unworthiness? Now begin to offer yourself these words. You might not believe them yet. That's okay. Just let them be spoken. I forgive myself for not knowing what I hadn't yet learned. I forgive myself for doing the best I could with the tools I had. I forgive myself for being human, imperfect, still learning. I release myself from the prison of shame. Continue breathing with these phrases. If you notice your inner critic objecting, maybe saying you don't deserve forgiveness, just acknowledge it. I'm choosing freedom anyway. Now bring to mind someone who has hurt you. Start with someone where the hurt isn't too fresh or too deep. We're practicing, building capacity. See them in your mind's eye. Acknowledge the hurt they caused. You're not pretending it didn't happen. And now, see if you can recognize their humanity. They too are imperfect. They too were probably doing the best they could with their own unhealed wounds. This doesn't excuse the harm. It just acknowledges that hurt people hurt people. Begin to offer these words, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve freedom. I forgive you for the harm you caused. I release my need for you to be different than you are. I free myself from the weight of this resentment. I choose peace over the need to be right. If this feels impossible, that's okay. Just trying is enough. Just entertaining the possibility of forgiveness is a step toward freedom. Now, if you feel ready, bring to mind a more difficult person or situation. Someone whose hurt cut deeper. Again, see them. Acknowledge the harm. And see if you can offer even a sliver of forgiveness. Not for them, but for you. I am willing to release this burden. I am willing to choose freedom over resentment. I am willing to forgive, even if I'm not ready yet. Take 3 final breaths, carrying this practice with you. Breathing in freedom. Breathing out resentment. Breathing in forgiveness. Breathing out shame. One more. Breathing in peace. Breathing out the need to hold on. When you're ready, remove your hand from your heart and gently open your eyes, returning to the space around you. Forgiveness doesn't happen all at once. It's not a switch we flip. It's a practice we return to again and again, until one day we notice the weight is lighter. The story has less power, and we're no longer defined by what was done to us or what we did. The freedom that comes from forgiveness is real. It's the freedom to move through the world without constantly carrying the past. It's the freedom to show up to family gatherings without being triggered into old patterns. It's the freedom to make mistakes without believing they make us irredeemable. As we approach the holidays, you might encounter people who've hurt you. You might sit at tables with unresolved wounds. You might feel the pull to either confront or people please or disappear. Forgiveness gives you another option: to be present without needing anything to be different, to hold boundaries while releasing resentment, to show up as your healed self, even in spaces that knew you before healing. This week, I invite you to practice forgiveness in small ways. Maybe you start with forgiving yourself for something minor: being late, saying the wrong thing, not being perfect. Build the muscle of self-compassion. It's one of our most important muscles to flex. And if you're ready, try forgiving one small hurt from someone else. Not the deepest wound yet, just something you're ready to release. Notice what shifts when you choose freedom over resentment. Notice what becomes possible when you're no longer carrying those stones in your pockets. Thank you for walking this tender path of forgiveness with me today, for being willing to choose freedom even when resentment feels justified. May you carry this practice into your days, remembering that forgiveness is for you. May you be gentle with yourself as you release what no longer serves you. The Softening into Momentum podcast is lovingly curated, created, written, edited, and produced by me, Miki Byrne, with accompanying sound bath frequencies by my good friend, Static. If you would like to dive further into his incredible musical work, please go to YouTube at Static is Noise. If this episode touched something in you, please like it, comment, share it with someone who might need permission to forgive. Join us in the Meta Momentum coaching community, where we're practicing forgiveness together, supporting each other in choosing freedom. Until we meet again, keep releasing, keep forgiving, keep choosing the freedom that's waiting on the other side of resentment. Namaste.